Yeah, it's the little differences that make the big differences. It's the ways to do certain things. Um, and as you know, for example, last year I did, it wasn't a magic course. I showed people how to do icebreakers. And although I showed how to do some magical effects, all the stuff I showed is my stuff. I didn't show another magician's tricks to anybody there. So I feel good about me because I'm showing little things that I do that are my stuff. When I get a client to come in, I'll play mind games with them in a way that hopefully the client will turn around and go, oh, how did that happen? And then my explanation is, well, I'm about to do that with your mind now to get you to stop from doing this. One of the simple little things that I do, Pete, for example, is, when somebody comes in just to say hello and they tell me everything they've got and all the problems they've got and so on and so forth, I'm going to play a game with them, am I? I'm going to do it right now. They don't even know that I'm playing a game with them. But I'll say something like this, will I? I'll say, it's kind of like, I've got this phone of mine, but I don't want it anymore. So I think I'll just throw it away and it's gone and my problem's over. I don't have it anymore. But based on what you're telling me about you, you're not like that. You're like this, yeah? I've got this phone. I don't want it. I think I'll just throw it away. Hmm. It's just why is that? And it's as if it's as if it's all inside you, but it's totally outside your control. That'd be true now, wouldn't it? And Pete, I've asked that of thousands of people, and thousands of people always look at me and go, yeah, that's it. So what I would use there is shit. It's a ridiculous little thing to do an ice-breaking moment to show them that it's all inside them, but it's totally outside their control. If I left it at that, I'm an idiot because I'm not going to lose the moment unless I grab the moment, which I will do by saying, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to step inside there and I'm going to talk to that part that allows you to do that. I'm going to talk to that part. And right now, for example, it's inside your head right now, looking at me through your eyes, and it's saying, "Oh my God, he sees me. He sees me. He's not even talking to stupid. He's not even talking to them. He's talking to me. I know he is." And at that point, Pete, they'll all smile. And I often wonder to myself, is it them that's smiling? And I like that. I like the whole idea of that. So that's a great opener. That is a great couple-minute opener for somebody to maybe turn around and go, I need this therapy. This is because no one else has talked to them like that. They've already been there, seen 3 or 4 or 5 more therapists. They've done this psychological route and lots of other things I don't want to name because I've got friends who do it for a living and I don't like it, but never mind that. So it's about getting right to the part, talking to that part, real or imagined, and seeing if we can play games with that part, whereby something ridiculous happens and we get from there. Little things, for example, like here's a hand stick, yeah, and they can't open their hands because their hands are stuck together. I would never do that as a hypnotist. I do that on stage for a bit of fun, but I'm not doing that because it's got nothing. Well, it has got something, but very little to do with lactic acid. Yeah, sorry, other than lactic acid. This is lactic acid mainly. That's what it is. This is a suggestion. It's not hypnosis, but it can be. This is a suggestion. It's not hypnosis, but it can be. This is definitely a suggestion. This is cusping. This is lovely. I love this. That is cusping. That tells me that's a good chance. And of course, the last thing we do is the hand, but I never do that. As you know, Pete, I take the hand, I put it on a table, and I do a hand stick to table. And I love that. I absolutely love it. And I love it because of this. It's either going to work or they absolutely will not know if it doesn't work. I mean, how beautiful is that? Listen to what I just said there. It's almost like it's got no value. It sounds like it's shit. Why would you bother saying that? It's because it's massively important. So I'll do something that will be guaranteed to work for this person who's giving me their money. Or if it doesn't work, they'll have no idea that it didn't work. In fact, they'll think it did work. How about that? Because in a way, it did work. But we'll get to that when we're into it. Yeah. So I love hand sticks at tables. I would never do this unless it's a group of people I'm having fun. But as you know, Pete, I don't have that. And I don't have this thing gets thrown over here. Rather, I've got 10,000 things like that. Yeah. That we'll have some fun with. Again, some people yesterday I was with, I did this thing where you follow the person's hand, wherever it goes, yeah. And the guy I had was a complete and absolute skeptic. He was lovely. I really loved him. Well, some skeptics I really, really do like. And it's nice. But you're doing that. But you're doing, but you're, and I said, you know what you've turned into now? You've turned into a but machine. Everything you're saying to me, you start with but, but, no but, yeah, but. And of course, his wife started laughing. I said, I'll tell you what to do then. Don't do it with me. Do it with her. I'll step back. And they did it together. And of course, it completely and absolutely worked. To which he screamed the F word and says to me, what's going on? And I said, that's for another time when I get your money. Yeah. So I'm booking him on to the next thing with us. But we turned it into a bit of fun. Yeah. So yeah, we've got lots of these beautiful icebreakers that we'll be showing on our day. That people will take away and they'll use it immediately. And oh my God, it will actually work. And they'll think, shit, I never even thought this would work. Because a lot of the time we talk about, but it's the intention. It's the intention of the person who's doing it. That will decide whether it works or not. That's true a certain percentage of the time. But there's other stuff where you don't even need intention. It's just going to work because they are human beings. And some of us know how human beings work in certain areas, because rather than look at evidence-based books that tell us things that somebody made up because they did it, they tested it on 17 people in Oxford or Cambridge. We've done it 10,000 times in our therapy rooms. We do it again and again and again, so we know it's going to work. We absolutely know it's going to work. You've got to know something's going to work. You know what I'm talking about here, Pete. When I stick someone's hand to the table and I pick up my wallet and I open it and I show them there's £500 in this wallet, which you can take if you can just lift your hand from the table and take it from me, I better know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And every time I do it to people in the room who've heard that I've done it before, other people do things like that. My good friend Anthony Jacquin, lots of other people I know, we do this. But why do we do it? Because we know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about. We know how to get them into state, as we call it, yeah. And we can have a lot of fun with that stuff as well. But we don't need to. We don't need to for hypnotherapy. It doesn't matter. Hypnotherapy is not needed in hypnotherapy. The swan is not needed in hypnotherapy. There's lots of other things we can be doing in there.